Hi, everyone. This is Candy Johnson. I am your host, and this is Real Talk, brought to you by Real Raw Records. Today's topic is, do you know the difference? And I know that is a question, but it is an incomplete question, but we're going to fill in the blanks. The reason why we left that open is, for one thing, that would make the title extremely too long. But also, um, we're going to do a series of this on this particular topic because there are a lot of things that we face in life that we don't really think about what the real difference is between the two, okay? And we don't consider these things, but there are things that are very, very important to understand and consider the difference between the two, all right? Our broadcast was turned off. I guess we had a loss of connection, and so it was kind of interrupted. So we had to start this segment over again. But I started off by using the example of a woman that's born naturally a female gender, and the difference between that and a transgender male that has altered his physical features to resemble, I said to resemble a woman, okay? And the reason why I chose to repeat that word resemble 3 times is because that word is very important, because when things resemble or look like something or is similar, you know, that is what causes us, a lot of people, not to know the difference. So this is why sometimes if a man alters himself, even gets his Adam's apple cut down, does a lot of work on his body to resemble a female, many times they can fool you into not really being able to quickly identify what gender they are, you know. And this is the reason why I am using that as an example, because it's such a very visual example of how something can appear to be the same but be totally different. Because if you are a heterosexual man and you're not homosexual, it's important for you to know, is this a real woman, or is this man altered to resemble a woman? Okay, so that's something within itself that's very important to understand and know the difference between the two, for that reason. Because if a person is heterosexual, it's wrong to deceive them into thinking that they are approaching a female and it's actually a male. That's so wrong on so many levels. I couldn't even begin to explain. It would take another broadcast to do that. However, that is the reason that a lot of transgenders go through so much to have the resemblance of a woman. It's because many of them have the mentality to trick other men that are heterosexual into not knowing the difference between them and a real female. Okay, when I say real female, I mean a woman that was born with all the female anatomy. You know, some real women aren't born with, you know, they're kind of flat chested. Okay. Some women, real women, are not very feminine looking. Okay. But they are real women because they were born with the vagina. They are real women because they were born with a womb, all right, to carry a child. Okay, so these are things that distinctively and very distinctively determine the difference between something that just resembles the real deal. All right, just look like the real deal. It's not the same as actually being what something is. Okay, so I said all that to say this. Okay, not to just point out what the transgenders are doing. I was just using that as an example of how things can appear so much alike, but in all actuality, they are so totally and completely different. And if you stop and think, a lot of people don't stop and think, but if you stop and think about these things and what they entail, all right, then you can very easily identify the distinction between the two. All right. Now, I was having a conversation earlier with someone who was very arrogant. He calls himself the idol smasher, all right, here on Google. And to me, there is a very big element that goes along with people who hide behind fictitious names and gravatars to begin with. I kind of look at people with fictitious names, made up names and gravatars, you know, fictitious pictures to identify themselves, are hiding something. Okay. That's just me. I'm not saying there's no law, no rule, or no rule of thumb or anything like that for anybody else, but that's my rule of thumb. You know, I kind of have a presupposed assumption about people who hide behind fictitious names to begin with. All right. They, to me, from what my experience has been, are very cowardice type people. They generally are very, not only very cowardice type of people, but they are also generally, what do you call that? Bullies. And they like to, now people think that when you think about a bully, you don't think about a person as being cowardice. You think of the person that the bully is bullying as being cowardice. But this is what I'm talking about things appearing to resemble something, but it really isn't. Pay attention and I'll explain to you, okay? What people never really stop to think about a bully is a bully is a person with very low self-esteem. You would have to have a very low self-esteem or very low character quality to pick on other people. Some people who are very gullible or very passive and stuff like that. Just because they are passive, that does not mean that they are what you call that, easy prey, so to speak, or naive somehow. Okay, Some people are just not very outspoken, okay? But they are very opinionated. So what they'll do is people that are very opinionated but sort of passive in a way in real life is they'll get these fictitious names and they'll come online and just wreak havoc because they can hide behind their gravitas. Okay, so this is what this person is doing. They have these fictitious gravitas, and they go online and, you know, kind of wreak havoc a little bit because they feel like they're protected behind the internet to do so. All right. This person, so-called idol smasher, I was on another post and I had tagged him in the post because it was about his religion or whatever like that. Now, the first time I ever seen his post name, when I say it said idol snatcher, I automatically assumed that he was an atheist, okay? But then later I found out that he was a Judaist or whatever you call him. He called himself a Noahite, all right? But come to find out later, he got his own religion and he made his own idols, but he gonna call himself, go around the internet and smash other people's idols. I said, oh shit, now wait a damn minute here. So anyway, I tagged him in his post. I said, well, he done smashed everybody else idols. By the time he get his smashed too. So I was sort of trying to get him to face the fact that he has that Judaism makes an idol out of the Torah, and they are very similar to Christians, other than they just worship a different book, but they still are book worshipers. And they're very much like Christians, because the Christians worship their preachers and pastors and stuff like that, and they ministers and stuff like that. So, but the Jewish people at the Jewish church, they worship the rabbis and shit like that, you know. So it's still the same. It's just they directing their attentions and their idolism towards different places, but it's still idol worship, all right? In contrary to their books, all right, what they reading. Yeah, so I was trying to get him, because he's so indoctrinated, he wasn't trying to hear that. So he got mad, all right, because he had a pretty much high level of respect for me, because he see me debunking everybody else, but he never thinks for 1 second I was gonna turn tables and come for him, so to speak. But well, hon, I got to tell you like this: I'm for right and I'm for truth. So if you're on the wrong side, on the opposite side of right or truth, then, you know, I didn't pick you. You chose to be on that side. You chose that side, you know. So anyway, he started hurling out insults, but what he forgot is that I got him on video extending these praises to me. So long as I wasn't attacking his belief, he extended me all these accolades. But as soon as I start coming for the juggler for him, you know, and it wasn't to harm him or anything, but it's real talk, huh? It's real talk. So if you ain't ready to keep it real, you wasn't ready to be on my level no way in the first place. I tried to get him to come over to the broadcast. He slithered his coward his ass over on somebody else's post. All right, but he's is very arrogant. All right, in nature. I am extremely confident in what I know. So the difference there is this, is that you ain't gonna find me slithering around nowhere. My picture online is pictures of me. All my information of me is online. You want to talk about integrity, all right? He lied his way out of many instances. And I noticed it, and I kind of filed that under liar. You know, liar over here, you know, because several times I done caught him in a lie, okay? But I'm very consistent in what I say and do, and I can be very confident in my stance, because you ain't gonna find no instances where I'm saying or doing this and then it's something totally different over here. All right, I'm very consistent. Now, I'm not saying that might ever change my mind about something, or maybe perhaps look at something or view something in a different way or in a different light. But you'll also see me admitting to that just as openly as I would express my belief systems if I find out that I'm wrong about something, or if I did something wrong. I will openly and very confidently humble myself as well. See, that's the difference between confidence and an ego. Ego ain't and arrogance ain't gonna never ever apologize. Or this is their way of apologizing. I'm sorry if I did something that you might have took wrong. You know, they still don't ever just quite fess up. You know, they still try to distort it somehow. Well, what had happened was, I think you might have misunderstood, all that kind of stuff, you know. That's what arrogance and ego make people behave in that manner, all right? Confidence, people that are confident, they are confident in the fact that knowing that even in their faults, doesn't make them less of a person because they have faults, or less, it doesn't make you less respectable person because you have a fault. All right, a person that's confident, too confident, they are confident in knowing that there is a grave amount of respect that lies in the element of humility. All right, those of you who think that putting yourself down is humility, no, that's not humility. That's low self-esteem. Okay, humility is when you, and I really need to do a whole segment on humility, because people got humility twisted. They think that humility is when you putting yourself down and saying you ain't worth nothing, and I'm just this and I'm just that and I ain't nothing. That's not humility. That's low self-esteem and low self-worth. The fuck? That's not the same. That's not the same. How can you truly understand and know yourself if you think of yourself as less than all the time, or in every issue, or in every circumstance? It's got to be something about you that you can be proud of. All right, when I say proud, I don't mean prideful. What I mean is something that is, you know, that is a characteristic value. That is where you get self-worth from your characteristic values. And from those characteristic values, you derive confidence. All right. And you should be confident. Say, for example, I was born with the gift of singing. All right, born with the gift. But even with me being born with that gift, my confidence is just not in the inherent nature of being able to sing. My confidence in it is that I've worked on my craft, okay, to become a very notable person in that field. So therefore, I'm confident in that. Okay, that gives me confidence that when I stand on that stage, I know I'm gonna rock the house. You know, when I tell people, and I've been all over places, you know, big wigs and stuff like that, and they say, "So what do you sing?" And I say, "Well, I rock the house any kind of way you want it." They are very intrigued by that. And I've been challenged, and I've met the challenge and exceeded the challenge. All right, excelled it, you know, in that area. So because I know that I've been you know, challenged on that issue and passed the test, that gives me more confidence. All right. So when people look at a person that has confidence, and they're looking at a person that is arrogant, their confidence is built on something they have not tested, been proven. They have not stood up to any challenges. It's just like I challenged this guy, the idol smasher. He won't stand up to no challenge. He running, slithering around, running and hiding. Okay, you know why? Because he's arrogant. He's riding on pure ego. No, he can't be confident because he got some holes in his story. All right. So since he knows he has those holes in his story, you know, he may put up the persona. See, that's where the ego and the pride, and he beats on his chest. I'm the idol snatcher. All right. But that's the reason he running and hiding, because he's beating on his chest, hoping you believe the hype. You know, back in the day, they used to have a song. It was a hip hop song saying, "Don't believe the hype." You know, and it was real funny and comical. But if you really think about the words, they're saying, "Don't believe the hype," because people will hype themselves up, okay, and try to make you think and believe that they really have a ground to stand on, but they don't. They standing on real shaky ground. And the only it would be so easy, and it wouldn't take very much for you to rattle their cage, so to speak, and find out what they really working with. You understand? You find out that they very cowardice and bullies. You know, that's what people want to hype you. A bully try to place fear in you so he'll never have to fight. All right. And a bully's technique is more so trying to use that size, and or you know, a lot of times they come with a gang. All right, a crowd of people, or more than one person, them and somebody else. Okay, so that they can get some help if you whoop their ass. All right, just in case. and they need validation from somebody else, you know, to tell them, you know, encourage them in their bullshit. Okay. So anyway, that's a big issue that I've noticed here online between the people that are pretending to have confidence when in reality it's ego-driven arrogance. Okay, they have no clue what they're talking about, but they want you to believe the hype. So this is why I pose this question: do you know the difference? We're gonna have some more of these sessions, but in the meantime, in between time, keep it real or take your ass back to fantasy land.